Feeling inspired by hosts Ron and Tyler? This episode of the MovieBuffs Podcast is brought to you by the YouTube workout channel Time to Train Fitness. With all things YouTube, it's free. Jump into a bar class, crank out a cycling workout, or pump out a strength session. Everything you need to work out for free at home. Check out the description and subscribe today.
Welcome to another MovieBuffs reaction. My name is Tyler Valencia, your host for this quick little episode on Avatar, The Way of the Water. Now, I did it. I went and saw it. It was in 3D. I'm typically not a fan of 3D. I just can't stand wearing the glasses. Could be because I wear glasses in my normal life sometimes. I rarely wear them because I just don't like having things on my face, but I did it. I wore the 3D glasses, saw it in Dolby. I was tricked. Not tricked, more I just wasn't paying attention when I bought the tickets. I thought it was just my favorite Dolby Cinema, but I had my popcorn, my chips, and I came in with a goal. My goal was to see it without getting up, and boom, I accomplished it. And that has to speak to how long it is. It's a long movie, over 3 hours. It was almost 11 when we got out. And I have to say, I was surprised. Walking into it, that was probably the most skeptical I've been for a movie of this nature. And I was skeptical because I don't want to say I fell into all the drama that was going on years prior with Marvel movies and James Cameron and talking about franchises and whatnot. And I think that for me personally, it was that I don't get why directors ever say anything about other movies. I know that it's usually on media tours when they're sitting in these rooms, these hotel rooms, and they're getting asked a million questions, and maybe sometimes they just slip up. I can think of Scorsese when he was being asked about Marvel movies, and he slipped up, and maybe he didn't slip up. Maybe that was his real opinion. I don't know. But I know that Cameron has said stuff about Marvel movies, and I think that was really why I was joining in on the drama of it, the hate of James Cameron movies, but I just don't get why they say anything. They are literally fortunate enough to be able to make movies. They have these humongous budgets. Who cares what other people make, especially when you're freaking James Cameron? You made humongous movies that brought in tons of money. Why are you saying anything? And that could just be a mindset that maybe you get later on the road when you're super successful, but I don't know. So that was kind of my mindset walking into it, but I have to say that you're walking into Avatar 2 and you're betting against James Cameron. You're not coming from a good standpoint because he's going to whoop you. He's going to bring the heat, and why would you ever bet against James Cameron? The feeling you get once even the movie starts, because it starts quick, and you're right back in Pandora. So betting against James Cameron, in my opinion, it's not wise. And I'd listened to one of my favorite YouTubers, his spoiler review of the movie. He saw it, I think, a week or two prior to it coming out. And he already mentioned that it wasn't going to be good. So I kind of just walked in, okay, it is probably going to be a good movie. And it blew my expectations way out of the water. The look of it, the technology they used, that's something that I've done in the last week, and not to the extent of when I watched Dune. I got really down the Dune tunnel there, the rabbit hole for Dune, listening and watching about all the different houses, all that kind of stuff. I didn't go that far, but with Avatar, just watching a little bit of the behind the scenes, how they filmed it, and then hearing about how James Cameron had to invent technology for it, and even his approach to filming it. What I found very fascinating, and is probably different and maybe interesting for our listeners, is how he was talking about how the way that he films it, he's not so much worried about camera angles, what's in shot. He's more worried about the performance they get, because they take all that motion capture, all the facial expressions, eyebrows, eyes, mouth, all those little unique things that go on when you're talking to somebody or even when you're acting. And they put that into the CGI, the capture, all that kind of stuff that you see on the screen, and it comes off that way. Yeah, so him talking about that difference with Avatar movies how he's more engaged with the actors instead of, okay, I want all this in shot, the tracking, all that kind of stuff. It's super fascinating. I mean, when you look at the behind the scenes stuff and they're running around these warehouses on these makeshift scenes, or even seeing how they put some of these action scenes together, you're like, this isn't the Avatar? Like, what are they talking about here? But when they go put it in the computer and blend all that stuff up, oh my goodness. The look is out of this world. That was one of the things that I was actually wanting to see, because the spoiler-free review that I had seen from my favorite YouTuber that talks about movies, comic book movies, all types of movies, to be honest, he was saying the look and feel of it's a little different. And I didn't think that. I actually thought that you're right back into Pandora. I think the look of it is just, they have more money now and technology has advanced, and James Cameron and the technology that he created for it has advanced. It's almost, it's not scary, but it's amazing in my mind to see what they can do, because there's some scenes you're like, that's not real. There's not blue people walking around like that. Their eyebrow, their facial expressions just look like a real person. And it's that amazing. So walk into it, have an open mind, because you're just going to be blown away with those things. Now let's talk about the story of it. And this was actually the part that I felt was much stronger than the first one. With the story, there's much more family. There's kids. There's taking care of you. If you're the man of the house, how are you managing your family? How do you take care of your family? If you are the mom, the matriarch, how are you taking care of your kids, protecting them? If you're a kid, the journey of learning. Maybe if you're the oldest child, the expectations, the middle kid that no one understands, the youngest, all these different things are in there. So the story of family and their journey throughout this movie is very apparent, and it's very strong. I think that no matter where you even stand in your own family, you're going to be able to resonate with it and be able to walk away and feel like, oh, wow, I've experienced something like that, or that was very impactful. So when the scenes do hit, any type of tragedy or any type of sad scene, you do feel all of it because you're invested, and maybe you've had some type of situation like that in your life. So definitely the story in my mind was much better. It was less about fighting against the sky people and more about the family part of it. The aspects of why the sky people, human people from Earth, are on Pandora is different. And that kind of actually sets up stuff for the future. Now, they put a lot of different things for the future at the time of this recording. All we know is that there's going to be an Avatar 3 because they filmed it at the same time. But 4 and 5, I think I've heard that those are just up in the air. They have to see how well this movie does. So we might not even have an answer till the middle of 2023, because from what I understand, and I was actually in this boat, I saw the first Avatar late. I didn't see it in theaters. And it wasn't till, I'm trying to think if I actually saw it in the theaters or if I saw it on like FX or rented it. I can't tell you right now while I'm recording this, but with the first Avatar, it took a while for it to start gaining momentum and gaining box office records. So I think they're doing the same. They're going to sit back and wait. We'll at least get the third one, but the fourth and fifth, we'll have to see. Now, with setting up the future, there is a very interesting aspects of it, and you've probably seen Sigourney Weaver's in it, and her character is very interesting. There's definitely a storyline in there, her Kiri, and her powers that she has and how she interacts with Pandora and with Mother Nature, all those things. Why the sky people are on Pandora is definitely a future for the storyline. I'm not going to say why they are there because that's kind of giving away. But with all this, it's interesting because I've actually heard that the protagonist for this, or the antagonist for this, Korich, yeah, he's going to be in all of them. That he's going to be in all of them, which if you saw the first one, which hopefully you did if you're listening to this, he's died. He died. He's dead. But it's not giving away that he's in it, and how he comes back, I'm not going to say. But he's going to be across all of them in some capacity. So those are all storylines that are put into this that they just gently touch. And it's interesting because they're in it. You see these storylines, you want to know more. And I think that's how you get invested into the future ones. Now with Pandora, with their family, Jake Sully, and the rest of his clan, we'll call it, or his little mini family, they go to a different part of Pandora to basically move away from the enemy that's trying to find them. And this is where we get this new storyline. We see love. We see this connection with Mother Nature in a different way. And you might already think, really? In a different way? But that was actually one of my favorite parts of this movie was the aspects of Mother Nature, the animals, the water. And it really made me think about those things. And I know that James Cameron is a big proponent of the water, cleaning up the water and preservation of those things. And I actually, in my mind, I was like, how can I clean up the water? Like, how can I help animals more? Walking away from the movie because it's so beautiful, the connection that they have with the animals, these new animals that they introduce. And it makes you just take it in awe. I know that there was a series, and I'm drawing a blank on it. Maybe somebody listening can remind me of it. I don't think it was called Mother Nature, but I know it became big on Netflix. And you watched it because of just the scenes of forests, of water, jungles, all that kind of stuff. And even though this is computer generated, you still walk away with those feelings, which is just crazy in my mind. Now, some surprises before I wrap this quick reaction up and give my recommendation for it. But for me, it's actually kind of fun to see some of these actors that were in it. Eddie Falco, I know her from The Sopranos, and I know she has an accent, but she plays a small role in it. And it was one of those, I think that's Eddie Falco. I think that's Miss Soprano right there. What is she doing in this movie? I feel like I rarely see her in anything. So it was always cool to see her. And I just recently finished rewatching this series probably for my 10th time. I also always love seeing Jermaine Clement, What We Do in the Shadows, one of my favorite shows, and seeing him in anything is always fun to see. He's not playing any type of comedian role in it. Of course, I feel like he does have maybe one or two one-liners, but always enjoy seeing him. And then Kate Winslet is in it. And it wasn't until watching the behind the scenes that I put two and together who she was. I think I'd maybe seen like on maybe a media tour that she was in it, but I didn't know who she was, but she plays a rather large role in the movie. But the cast is just great. I mean, young actors, the CGI, all that kind of stuff, just amazing for me to think of how they put all this together and how they acted in that capacity and what it became. So that leads me to my recommendation here. I would recommend seeing it. I would go see it in your favorite type of viewing capacity, whether it's Dolby Cinema, whether it's IMAX, 3D, see it on the best screen that you personally enjoy, and just come ready. Just come ready, have your snacks, have your food, popcorn, all that kind of great stuff. If you have to get up, do it quickly, but come back because the movie starts fast and you're just tied to it the whole time. Yes, I did notice throughout my theater several times people getting up, having to go to the bathroom. I kept seated that whole movie and I enjoyed it because I would say once I get to the last fight, the last climactic fight in it, I actually didn't think it was going to be the end. I thought there was going to be more after. I didn't know that it was near the end, but it just kept going. It just kept getting more intense, more fighting, more pieces to unravel. So you'll know what I'm talking about once you go see it, once you get there. But definitely see it, enjoy it, and come back, share your feedback, share your thoughts on it. And if you think that they'll come back with the fourth and a fifth. This has been a quick reaction. My name is Tyler. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy these quick reaction, instant reaction episodes of the MovieBuffs Podcast. As always, thank you for tuning in, being my guest, and listening to the MovieBuffs Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. Hey listeners, host Tyler Valencia here. I want to tell you about a product I wear every day and has been a game changer for my health. Naboso Performance Insoles. The Naboso line of insoles are recommended for waking up the feet when standing at work, enhancing foot awareness, and increasing foot stimulation. I personally wear the Duo insoles, which offer the highest level of stimulation, and I can't say enough positive things about them. I used to have foot pain after sitting at my desk, working away all day, and will make getting ready to work out a process and a half. Using these insoles has helped me, and if you want to give them a try, head to the link in the description and then come back to share your feedback with us.